All right, good evening, everyone. It's 6:30 on October 3rd, 2023. This is the time and date and the place for our October board committee meeting. I do call this committee meeting to order. As usual, we are meeting as a committee of the whole. We'll just move through the agenda for tonight and we'll determine what will be on the consent agenda for next week or what will be on discussion. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Messinger.
Okay, I'll start with number 5. Those are our typical approval of minutes, the student activity count and cash disbursements. Number 6, 6.1 and 6.2. 6.1 is authorizing us to work with PFM. That's Brad Remick, financial advisors. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's who actually does the bond. We do a consultation with them. They call us. We do probably an hour-long call. They ask us questions about what the board is like, what our plans are, what we're utilizing resources for. And so we're working on that component of this for the high school renovation. And then 6.2 is the approval of the general obligation bonds series of 2023 with the parameters resolution as presented. Where's the resolution? Okay, so Brad didn't have that quite ready. It will be on there. My guess is that both of those, in case there's questions, we probably want to move to discussion for next week would be my take on it. Are we okay with that? Okay. The next one, however, is a typical an agreement with Vista School for educational services contract that is an annual thing. I was asked today about Title I services. We have Capital Area IU that actually does our Title I services for our kids that go to non-public schools in Dauphin County. And then we have also the Lancaster Lebanon IU that we work with. Any questions about any of those other items in 6? Okay, nothing under buildings and grounds. We do have a volunteer assistant wrestling coach listed for you. Under curriculum, 6, 18, 19, 20, and 21 are up for final adoption. I know under 9.2, there are a few addresses and things that need updated. We'll work on that. There was a rationale behind listing some of the old elementary schools, and that is because they haven't been fully turned over at this point. This is something that gets done every 2 years. Brad, did you want to tackle a little bit of that?
Just that the EOP adoption is a biannual requirement. It is not a full rewrite, as you may have been familiar with in previous years. This is just a legal requirement to repromulgate the plan as presented with the corrections. Some of the things that you'll note, like the annual student enrollment, that's part of the EOP that gets updated on an annual basis without action of the board. There are certain things that we're permitted to update that don't require the action of the board. In this case, we want to carry the addresses of the buildings that we still own with the addition of the elementary school until such time that we no longer own them, and then they'll be removed from the plan.
Is there an EOP significance to listing the high school and middle school as separate entities? Should we change that to the secondary school?
At the time that it was done, you'll recall that we
Yeah.
we still had 2 separate entities according to PDE, and it was felt that having the 2 listed was a benefit to the district. In this case, now that we're under one secondary building makes sense
Okay,
because
great.
the physical structure is one.
Great, thank you.
Okay, 9.3 is a list of secondary books and annual order for the library. 9.4 are many sets of curriculum for you to look at. I do know that there was a question, particularly when it comes to grade 8 and grade 10, over the use of STI versus STD. One of the documents uses STI, one of the documents uses STD. Pennsylvania uses STD. However, the national standards use STI. So I'm going to check in with a couple of little things on those with the teachers just to see if I can get some clarification and some consistency. So there might be a few tweaks to those. Anything that we tweak, obviously we'll have posted, and I'll bring it to your attention. Any other questions about 9?
And any desire of anybody to put those on discussion or leave them on consent? Speak up if you want anything on discussion. Okay, great.
All right, 10 is our substitute list. 10.1, 10.2 is a resignation. Congratulations to Diana. She's going to be an instructional coach. 10.3, Mrs. Bruce was well prepared. We had known about 10.2, and she had lined up a long-term substitute for that position. 10.4 is assignment of mentors. 10.5 are staff that are moving academic credits, columns, as is letter B, a column movement, but for a tech person. Any questions on 10? And 11 is just, there should be a voting receipt from PSBA uploaded for you to view. And the sign language club trip to Gallaudet, which was already approved, needs to adjust the date to April instead of, I think, was it March? I don't remember, Pat, do you? It was moved about a month.
Mr. President, can you verify that there was no public comment?
Yes, I was actually gonna,
Thank
we
you.
kind of skipped over it, but there was no public comment for this evening. So that's why we moved past that, but would publicly announce that. So thank you. Okay, is there any? Oh, I was already anticipating it. Yeah, but thank you. Okay, is there any new business to bring to the committee this evening from any director? Okay.
I do have a public question for Brooke, just to make sure that we do it on the up and up. Brooke, if we have, I got last minute one more mentor, for instance. If I bring it to the board's attention, which I would do in my weekly email, is it possible to add something like that to the consent calendar? I mean, it can be voted on separately and it doesn't really matter. I'm just more asking out of curiosity. Oh, you got your Phillies shirt on, I see. But
Fine, go Phils. It was Jersey Day at work today. So yes, that's totally fine. I mean, it's a normal consent item. As long as the board has notice of it and doesn't have any issue or want it pulled, that's fine to add in there.
okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So if there's no new business, I will just announce that the board is going to meet in executive session immediately following this committee meeting to have a financial workshop. But other than that, there's nothing else to bring to the board. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
And we can start that in about 5 minutes. We'll clear the room and we might as well stay here so you can use the TVs. Probably a little bit easier to view.